A desert storm brewing on the horizon. The Congress had quelled the rebellion. An uneasy truce was called. The political crisis in the state unit was stalled. The Congress was set to go to elections with no CM face. But 37 days before elections has Ashok Gehlot declared himself as CM candidate.
मैं मुख्यमंत्री पद छोड़ना चाहता हूं, पर ये पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा है। अब तुम समझ जाओ कितनी नहीं हिंदुस्तान में कितने मुख्यमंत्री की हिम्मत है जो ये कहे कि मैं पद छोड़ना चाहता हूं, पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा। बताइए दीजिए कितने मुख्यमंत्री है? इतिहास में कभी किसी ने कहा क्या? मैं कह रहा हूं, मैं छोड़ना चाहता हूं, आज ही कह रहा हूं, छोड़ना चाहता हूं, ये पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा है और शायद छोड़ेगा भी नहीं।
And is Congress on board? 37 days from election, Congress yet to release first list in Rajasthan. Internal strife in Rajasthan, two alliances breaking down in Madhya Pradesh even before they are tested. Samajwadi Party and Congress to face off in Madhya Pradesh on 18 seats. Akhilesh Yadav accusing Congress of backing out on promised seat share.
अगर ये मुझे पहले दिन पता होता कि विधानसभा स्तर पर कोई गठबंधन नहीं है इंडिया का, तो हम उसमें कभी मिलने नहीं जाती हमारी पार्टी के लोग, न अपनी हम सूची देते कांग्रेस के लोगों को, न कांग्रेस के लोगों का फोन उठाते।
अगर वहां पर कांग्रेस का मजबूत आधार है, वहां बीजेपी और कांग्रेस की लड़ाई लगातार होती चली आ रही है, तो आपको आगे बढ़कर हृदय बड़ा करके, मन बड़ा करके आपको वहां पे पूरी तरीके से कांग्रेस को समर्थन।
Congress conflict in Rajasthan, alliance trouble in Madhya Pradesh. Top focus on To The Point this evening. All right, so the Congress possibly firefighting on two fronts. Number one, the conflict that is brewing in the state of Rajasthan, and now it seems Ashok Gehlot quite firmly there, very subtly stating that the Chief Minister's chair is not leaving him and it will not leave him. Mind you, the Congress is fighting this election without a Chief Ministerial candidate or face. On the other hand, in the state of Madhya Pradesh, it's going to be Samajwadi Party versus the Congress on 18 seats, because the Congress has refused seat sharing in Madhya Pradesh where Samajwadi Party is concerned. Akhilesh Yadav making it very clear that if he knew that the alliance would only be on a national Lok Sabha scale, he would have not joined the India alliance. Let's cut across to our reporter right now immediately on what's taking place in the state of Rajasthan. Devankur Vadhavan joins us, but before I go to him, listening once again to Ashok Gehlot today.
मैं मुख्यमंत्री पद छोड़ना चाहता हूं, पर ये पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा है। अब तुम समझ जाओ कितनी नहीं हिंदुस्तान में कितने मुख्यमंत्री की हिम्मत है जो ये कहे कि मैं पद छोड़ना चाहता हूं, पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा। बताइए दीजिए कितने मुख्यमंत्री है? इतिहास में कभी किसी ने कहा क्या? मैं कह रहा हूं, मैं छोड़ना चाहता हूं, आज ही कह रहा हूं, छोड़ना चाहता हूं, ये पद मुझे नहीं छोड़ रहा है और शायद छोड़ेगा भी नहीं।
As Dave, the Congress is fighting this election without a chief ministerial face, but 3 hours ago you had Ashok Gehlot who said, who made it very clear that he wants to leave the chief ministership, but the CM-ship doesn't leave him and will not leave him in time to come.
Well, Preeti, this is not the first time that the Rajasthan chief minister has made this kind of a comment. He's known for, making such witty, sarcastic kind of remarks. And today at the press conference in New Delhi, perhaps 36 to 24 hours before the Congress's first list comes out for Rajasthan, he seemed at his wittiest best. He was making comments left, right, and center. He was taking questions with aplomb, and quite clearly, Preeti, it seems that the Rajasthan chief minister feels he does not have much to lose now. That is one. The other thing is that he also mentioned, apart from the comments that you played out, he also mentioned that that people from the Sachin Pilot camp have, almost every one of them have been given the tickets, or the tickets have been finalized. This perhaps, Preeti points out toward a kind of a thaw towards the relationship between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. Gehlot trying to, perhaps put
Okay.
out
All right, we seem to have lost Dev Ankur Vadhavan. We're going to try and get back where Dev is concerned, but let's cut across right now immediately to our guest this evening, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist in the studio with me, consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai, Avinash Kala, senior journalist, who's going to talk a bit more on what is going on in the state of Rajasthan, Mr. Kala. But let me quickly begin with Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep, the Congress will have to now fight on two fronts at one. It seems Ashok Gehlot, in the last 36 days of this election, coming into his own, stating very clearly in that press conference that the CM ship is not leaving him and will not leave him. Is the Congress on board with that? On the other hand, what's happening in Madhya Pradesh? It's going to be Samajwadi Party versus the Congress on 18 seats, where you had Akhilesh Yadav today, who angrily said if he knew that this alliance was not going to be on a regional state-wise level, he would have never joined it.
Let's look at it. They're two completely separate issues. Let's look at Rajasthan first. I mean, the fact is, Preeti, over the last few months, it's been very clear. The Congress is going into this election under Ashok Gehlot's leadership. If the Congress wins over 100 seats and thereby forms a government, it will be Mr. Gehlot. They may not have officially announced that he will be the chief minister, but just travel anywhere around Rajasthan in the last 6 months, you will find Mr. Gehlot's larger-than-life posters everywhere. You find no other posters of any other Rajasthan political leader of the Congress anywhere. I think the Gehlot versus Pilot battle is done and dusted for now. Even on the ticket selection, where the real battle is going on, Ashok Gehlot is trying to ensure that the maximum number of sitting MLAs, most of whom he sees as his loyalists, get tickets. That's the real battle at the moment. Is Mr. Gehlot going to be able to put enough pressure on the Congress High Command to ensure he gets the maximum number of his loyalist tickets and thereby ensure that if the Congress is to come to power, he once again calls the shot? So that's that battle. I see it more as a battle now between Mr. Gehlot ensuring that he calls the shots in Rajasthan. You turn to Madhya Pradesh. The truth of the matter, Preeti, is that in Madhya Pradesh, the party has outsourced this election to Kamal Nath. You will recall that in the first week of October, the India Alliance, the so-called India Alliance, was to have a grand meeting in Bhopal. That was the plan that was announced. Then what happens? Kamal Nath says he doesn't want to share that platform at that moment with DMK, which has spoken out on Sanatan Dharma, doesn't want to share it with Arvind Kejriwal, who has targeted the Madhya Pradesh leadership of the Congress. He wanted to do his own thing, and thereby has made it very clear that ticket distribution also is my deal. Why should I give tickets to the Samajwadi Party? And I think Akhilesh Yadav knew right at the very outset that there was very little chance that this was a state-level alliance. This, according to what we gather, the India Alliance is an alliance for the general elections. Obviously, it may send out the wrong signals if Akhilesh Yadav and the Congress are fighting each other in Madhya Pradesh, or Mr. Kejriwal and the Congress are fighting each other in Madhya Pradesh. But that's the way it is. So I'm not surprised with both of what has happened, both in Rajasthan and in Madhya Pradesh.
Stay with me. Let's bring in Avinash Kala, who's been looking at developments in Rajasthan very closely. Avinash Kala, and we're going to put those graphics out, that you have at one end Ashok Gehlot, who's fighting it out for his own people to get tickets, but some of his closest aides, the ticket to them is in question. The likes of Shanti Dhariwal, will they get tickets, not get tickets? They were the ones who actually scripted or were allegedly behind on what went down during the CLP a few months ago, the fiasco of it all. But on the other hand, Ashok Gehlot might be the face of this, Avinash Kala, but the Congress has made it very clear. That press conference where there was, a truce of sorts between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot, it was made very clear there is no CM face.
Well, Preeti, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to Rajasthan, not many people inside the Congress party and outside it listen to the Congress High Command. Ashok Gehlot, like it or not, is the de facto Congress party the way he has been running it. It has been coming out loud and clear. And as Rajdeep rightly pointed out, the last 6 months of campaigning was just to project him. Now go out anywhere and they say Congress has not declared a face, but they have projected Mr. Gehlot in a way. They gave him all the freedom. If you look at the way he pushed this, there was nowhere the Congress party or any symbol to be used. So he has ensured that he is there. Now the bone of contention is a 5-decade legacy of politics and the stronghold, can he get his three people who ensured that what
Dr.
happened on
Mahesh
September...
Joshi, Dharmendra Rathore, Shanti Dhariwal.
Absolutely. I can take a case of Mr. Dhariwal. You know, I famously remember his quote, which was aired on all channels. Kaun Ala Kaman? Rajasthan mein Ashok Gehlot hi Ala Kaman hai. Now is the time when Ala Kaman, when the government is on the back seat, code of conduct is out. Maybe now it's the turn of Ala Kaman to show who is Ala Kaman. And now facing that music. So Mr. Dhariwal, I think, is 80 plus. If he doesn't get it, they would try and bargain a seat for his son. The same goes for Mr. Mahesh Joshi. And Dharmendra Rathore is still waiting for a debut to be on the MLA list, leave aside being an MLA or not. So it is the last chance. Let's see how much Mr. Gehlot can push it. And the subtext was very clear, that if the people who went to Manesar are getting tickets, why aren't those who got my government home or who made sure that the government survived get a ticket? Now,
well, exactly, and that is why Avinash Kala, the night before or the day, the day before Ashok Gehlot took that plane to Delhi, he said what he did, where he spoke of how some of his men, where it was a touch and go, only 2-3 men, it came down to, and they stood by the government even though they were being offered to the likes of 30 crores. He said the same thing this afternoon in the press conference.
He misses no chance. I think we discussed this yesterday as well. We are saying it today. If anybody was thinking that Mr. Gehlot will not rake these issues up, was being very naive. So he would make sure that this happens. And see, yesterday after the meeting was over, most of the people were saying that the list would come out.
Yes.
But, we were here saying that the list would not come out because tomorrow is a big rally. Had the list come out, there would be people on the ground protesting it, and the Congress doesn't want to make sure that the rally goes right. So I don't see it getting over. I don't see a ticket list coming anytime soon till these three people are sorted. And Mr. Gehlot has... See, I'll tell you, before the lists are released, one line I would say, that the fate of how Congress party fares in these elections depends on the ego of one person, and that is the Chief Minister, Mr. Gehlot.
All right, okay, depends on the ego of one person. Will these three people be accommodated? We'll give the, the names of the three people out again. We've got those graphics going down. But Rashid Kidwai, I'm going to get you back into this conversation. And, the Ala Command at the time, or the High Command at the time of the entire CLP fiasco, was clearly not at its best or the strongest. You had them, the MLAs at that point of time, the likes of Shantilal Dhariwal and the other two, thumbing their nose at the High Command, saying that, who are you? It is Ashok Gehlot who runs the show. Will the High Command now flex its muscle?
I'm glad, Preeti, you asked this question. Mr. Ashok Gehlot is now a king without kingdom. It is for the political party, that is the Congress, its PCC chief, to give Form B, to give ticket. The chief minister has no say. He can go on equating Manesar incident to that what happened in September 25th, 2022. But there is no correlation. Mr. Gehlot is coming up with all kind of smart talk and wit, etc. But he knows that he's out of the race. You see, now he's at a daya and kripa of Congress leadership. It is for the Congress leadership to, give ticket or not. Only thing is whether Congress would want make it to, would want to make it ugly it was during, Punjab election when we saw Navjot Sidhu and all kind of, removal of Amrinder and the entire drama. So whether Congress can afford that or not, I think the Congress is going down, and let's see, how it shapes up. But just one last thing, Preeti, that what he said about, I want to quit chief minister. It's a very lazy argument. It reminds me of my, school, college days when I say, "Main kambal ko chhod raha hu, kambal mujhe nahi chhod raha," in that, winter morning when my parents would say, "You get up and go to school, college." So this is not a thing. If he wanted, he would have. And he's trying to mock Sonia Gandhi. I'm again saying it. In yesterday's meeting also, Sonia Gandhi made it very clear. Sonia, Rahul, both of them made it very clear about Shanti Dhariwal. You can't pick a fight with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul in the Congress and stay on.
All right, you can't pick a fight with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul and stay on. Rajdeep, once again, back into this conversation. What do you make? Even today, yes, you had Ashok Gehlot on the ticket, but that entire, theatrics or the optics, whatever one might call it, where Sachin Pilot and truce was brokered, it was brokered on the grounds of there will be no CM face announcement. And today you have Mr. Gehlot saying that it's going to be me.
Taking off from what my friend Rashid just said, that you can't take on Rahul and Sonia Gandhi and survive. Well, Ashok Gehlot did. Exactly a year ago, this very month.
Yes.
You will recall a parallel Congress legislature party meeting was held against the official CLP which was to be held, where Mallikarjun Kharge, who subsequently became Congress president, was the observer, was kept waiting. You were there in Jaipur at the time. And Ashok Gehlot virtually thumbed his nose at the Congress High Command and refused to take up the post of Congress President and instead
and all the action that was promised, nothing came of it.
So all the disciplinary action that was promised against Shanti Dhariwal, against Mahesh Joshi, against Dharmendra Rathod, what happened to that? In fact, Rashid is right. At yesterday's meeting, when Shanti Dhariwal's name was put up as a candidate from North Kota, there was Shanti in the room. Because Sonia Gandhi questioned, is this the same person who rebelled? And are we going to give him a ticket? Now the challenge, therefore, as I said, the battle at the moment is not Sachin Pilot versus Ashok Gehlot. That's done and dusted, Preeti, over. The real battle now is Congress High Command trying to assert its authority.
Why is that
over?
Why is that over? Because if over for now, but if in ticket distribution, because even though it's only 37 days left, they have penciled in 104 names. If Sachin Pilot's names are accommodated, why is that battle over?
No, there is every reason to believe that Mr. Pilot's recommendations could well be accommodated. Actually, the interesting part is Sunil Kanogulu, who's emerging as the new sort of face within the Congress on election strategy, is the one who's given a whole list based on a survey that he's done of people who should be given tickets. It includes the names of about 30 to 35 MLAs who should be dropped. Now, the Rahul Gandhi is going into that meeting with that list. So there's that list, there's Mr. Gehlot's list, and the two are not necessarily meeting, which is why you haven't had the Congress even come up with the first list at the moment. But let's be very clear, Preeti, this is a battle between a regional satrap who believes that for the last 5 years he has been able to stay on in power despite the BJP trying to bring down his government, and a much weakened party high command. However, post Karnataka, naturally there's a more muscular approach that the high command is adopting. We'll have to see how this plays out. At the end of the day, that is really the battle, both a year ago and now, and one which is playing out again.
Right. Avinash Kala, you know what Rajdeep spoke of, the regional satrap. There are chinks in the armor of the regional satrap as well, because only yesterday you had Mr. Dotasra who went ahead and said that there's no CM face. That is for the High Command to decide. So whoever is saying it's Ashok Gehlot, it is not Ashok Gehlot. And then he also made that very clear, that as per our recommendations, we are dropping 30 faces, and some of them are the close favorites of none else but the sitting chief minister.
See, it's very right. And, just before the code of conduct was to be put out, most of the congressmen were in a mood to get the conduct out early so that the government stronghold on the parties eased out. Now that is eased out. Earlier, you only used to have Mr. Pilot and Mr. Gehlot, but now Mr. Dotasra is making his head count, and it is not about dropping the 30 seats. Also, remember, last time around, there were similar fights on tickets. Now, the 6 BSP people who came in, now 5 want a Congress ticket. On those seats, where will the Congress's last time MLA candidates go? And there were 13 independents, loyalists of Mr. Gehlot, who contested independent, and he now wants them on a Congress ticket. So who will the party take? Would it be those who fought last time, lost it in a triangular fight? So it's not about just these 3 people. It's a lot more than these 3 people and the other loyalists who helped Gehlot secure his position as the chief minister. And Mr. Dotasra asserted, because you took his name in, there is a seat called Jhotwada, where Rajyavardhan is contesting. The moment Rajyavardhan's name came out, there was a BJP guy who turned out to be a rebel. And Mr. Dharmendra Rathod, we are being told, was pushing for that guy, Ashu Singh Surpura, a Rajput leader, to contest on a Congress ticket, and Mr. Dotasra vetoed it. So this is what the party insiders are telling us. So now everybody else whose voice was not being heard is taking their own positions and making themselves count. So it's not going to be an easy battle.
Well, not going to be an easy battle, because under this cloak of unity, the daggers are drawn. And Mr. Dotasra now coming in, mind you, he represents the 12% of the Jat vote. He is a Jat himself. When asked yesterday in that press conference that could there be a third phase, he said, why not? And, you've had that push from the likes of Mr. Dotasra. But Rashid Kidwai, getting you back very quickly, how do you see the High Command now acting? Because it would be in the benefit, at least, in terms of optics, the unity continues. But you have the likes of Mr. Gehlot, who could actually go down when it comes down to when the final vote is cast. Things could go awry.
Yeah, I think first of all, Preeti, there is a qualitative difference. What was it like on September 25th, 2022, and now the Congress was able to guided by the doctrine of necessity, they were able to have a Congress government in Rajasthan for a year, or maybe put together totally end to end 400 days. So if they had acted against Ashok Gehlot at that point of time, the Congress government would have fallen in Rajasthan, and there would have been an alternative thing, and a political equation in Rajasthan would have changed. But now things are very different. Mr. Ashok Gehlot is going to be a footnote in the Congress history. Man who rebelled, man who refused to become
Rajdeep
Congress
disagrees.
No, I didn't disagree. I'm smiling. Sorry,
Okay,
please don't.
sorry. Go ahead. Mr. Gehlot, make your point.
That's the long and short of it, because there is no way. Now the only thing, as I said, only thing is for Mr. Gehlot and for the Congress leadership to make it, ugly, dirty, and have a, very public display of things that what happened in Punjab, or have some kind of semblance of unit. That's the test. Now, can Mr. Gehlot be loyal enough to, stay on and bargain for a CWC, after December 3rd or so? You see, there is a...
Mr. Gehlot, you cut a very sorry figure of a man who's fully flexing his muscle right now. Rajdeep.
No. My point to Rashid is right that, there will be a battle and it could be a bruising battle. My point is very simply this. December 3rd will decide Ashok Gehlot's future. If the Congress wins, no one can stop him from becoming Chief Minister. The High Command cannot stop Ashok Gehlot from becoming Chief Minister if the Congress wins Rajasthan and breaks the cycle of 5 years rotational governments. But if the Congress loses and loses badly, then I think the High Command will have every reason to effect a major change in Rajasthan's politics, possibly even a generational change in Rajasthan's politics. But in the absence of that, these are old war horses. And I reminded my friend Rashid Kidwai, I had told him even about Punjab. There, I hope Rashid will admit, he thought that, the Congress would be able to manage the Sidhu-Amrinder conflict. They didn't. And look at what happened. They created a right royal mess. At this late stage, you can't take on Ashok Gehlot. Yeah. My point, and Avinash is right. If you had to take on Ashok Gehlot or effect a generational change, you could have done it 9 months or a year ago. Now you can't. Now he's fully in charge. You're going into this campaign with Rahul Gandhi hailing his healthcare scheme, saying it's the model, the Chiranjeevi scheme is the model scheme. Now you put all your eggs in Mr. Gehlot's basket. You're trying to ensure that at least in ticket distribution, you're fair to every faction. I think that might be achieved, but eventually December 3rd will decide the fate of Ashok Gehlot.
Do you agree December 3rd, if the Congress wins comfortably at that, it's going to be Mr. Gehlot all the way again?
Well, I'll take it a little. It looks likely, but if his people are not getting the ticket, then it's a problem for him. Last time around, as I told you, those 13 MLAs were very crucial. He made sure that he had 13 plus 6 BSP, 19 people extra with him. Absolutely, yes. Right. So those 13 independents and 6 BSP plus others were his strength. He marked it so well. So can he do it again this time? That is the big question.
Rashid Kidwai, ultimately, of what we have been given to understand, where Rajasthan is coming in, the question is, either way, look at the BJP or the Congress, will this also be a game of independence, taking off from what Mr. Kala said? You have independence possibly floated by the likes of Ashok Gehlot. There would be independence possibly floated by, maybe not Vasundhara Raje Scindia, but there's a lot of rebellion going on in Rajasthan as well. Most of them saying they're going to go independent.
Yes, Preeti, if it's a close call, then obviously Mr. Gehlot will come into play. But let me remind everyone, including my friend Rajdeep Sardesai, on the December 14, 2018, it was not that Mr. Gehlot had, support of majority of MLAs. It was Mr. Ahmed Patel and Motilal Vora, the old guard in the Congress, that prevailed upon Rahul Gandhi to, give Gehlot a chance. And, over the 19 and Lok Sabha, and then, that same thing happened in India also. So all these things were there. So you see, from somebody who has watched Congress, there's never this, other than Devraj Ars, there's been not a single chief minister who could elect himself, herself as the leader of CLP without the help of Congress legislature party.
But let's not compare Devraj Ars and Indira Gandhi with the politics of today. That Devraj Ars was also a tall leader, and so was Indira Gandhi. I'm not sure we can put the existing Congress leadership in the same bracket, but it's interesting you mentioned Vasundhara Raje.
Making a limited
because see, you're doing program after program.
But Preeti, I'm not doing program.
I find program after program of what's happening in the Congress. The BJP has released a list, correct me Avinash if I'm wrong, of just 41 names at the moment. The fact also is there is a lot of churning going on in the BJP. And I'll tell you something, that the plan B of Vasundhara Raje, according to sources, is to do exactly what Ashok Gehlot did last time.
But does she
which
have
is
that?
to ensure that the BJP doesn't get a major victory. And if it's 100, 105, then Vasundhara Raje will also call the shots.
Avinash Kala, does Vasundhara Raje actually have the heft of doing this or pulling what an Ashok Gehlot did in 2018? Many would say no.
No, I don't agree with my friend Rajdeep here. See? I don't see that happening. I think, Rajdeep, there is one thing more interestingly. After the 41 seats and the kind of rebellion that the BJP has seen for the first time, why are they delaying? They are trying to take every Kshatrap into confidence and build on a consensus before they release the seats. And I believe when it comes to Jhalawad or the areas of influence where Vasundhara Raje has her say, her people will be accommodated. She's quite hopeful for that. And I don't see a Gehlot 2.0 happening in the BJP.
You don't see that happening in the BJP?
No, I don't see that.
No, he's partly right. I think it will be much more difficult for Vasundhara Raje in the BJP. It was easier for Ashok Gehlot in the Congress, but I never rule out strong-rooted leaders. This is my old belief that you never rule out strong-rooted leaders. This politics of Delhi, domination of regional parties eventually results in some kind of a pushback. The BJP has suffered in Karnataka when they tried to isolate Yediyurappa, and the Congress could suffer if they decide at this late moment to try and downsize Ashok Gehlot. As I said, if you had to do it, you should have really done it, in my view, 9 months ago. Now it may be too late. Now you have to wait for December 3rd.
All right, okay, with that, we're going to call it quits on this show, but the conversation is going to carry on in days to come. We've got a keen eye on all developments taking place in Rajasthan. Time is ticking, 36 days left, no list where the Congress comes into question.